Hello and welcome to my channel. I am Yasmin Soraya and this is The Path of the Feminine, a series in which we talk all about feminine spirituality, embodiment and empowerment. This is your place to really dive into your feminine way of living and being. Today's episode is about something very important. We call it the Madonna-Whore split. It is about the splitting of our femininity into two sides, bad and good, right and wrong. It is about something that was imposed upon us through patriarchy over the last millennia, and that we have integrated on such a deep level that we start nowadays doing it to ourselves and to each other. Something that we absolutely need to heal if we want to return to wholeness and to truly being able to live in our aligned feminine essence and in an aligned feminine way. So what is the Madonna-Whore split? Let's start at the beginning. The Madonna-Whore split signifies the feminine being split into two identities. The Madonna, which represents the mother, the wife, the good girl, the by society considered as right and good woman, who fits into these pictures of she's a good wife, she doesn't talk too much, she's in the background, she takes care of the children, she's a mother, and completely splits a woman from any aspect of power or sexuality. The Madonna doesn't have that. She's just the mother, she is just the good wife, she is just the good girl, she is just that angelic picture of the feminine that is painted in society nowadays. It has been since a long time. And then there's the other aspect that the feminine is split into, which is considered the whore, which is the aspect of the feminine that is empowered, who doesn't keep her mouth shut, who speaks her truth, who stands up for herself, who embodies her sexuality and her sensuality, who lives in her body and lives connected to her primal nature as a part of herself, who is the one who is not scared of showing her sensuality and sexuality, who is not scared of living those desires out and really being aligned with her power, who is not scared to tell someone no, who can tell someone that her truth and stand up for herself. This is the aspect that has been deemed as the bad one, as the wrong one. And when we live in society, we are continuously categorized into either one or the other. Either we are fitting into the good wife mother picture, good girl picture, then we are considered the Madonna and treated accordingly, treated with the according respect. I put respect in this way because it's not truly respect. It's not truly respect because it's not respect for the whole woman. It's respect for a part of her. Or we do rebel and we do live out our sexuality, our sensuality. We live in our power. We don't let others override us. We say no. We stand in our truth. Then we're considered the whore. And then we're deemed as bad, as wrong, as not worthy, and not to be respected. So how this came to be is through the process of patriarchy, or through how patriarchy actually gained ground and managed to stay for so many millennia. There was a process of splitting the masculine and the feminine. And in that process of splitting the masculine and the feminine, and the masculine becoming the dominant force and taking over the control, the dominance in the polarity, in the normally harmonious balance, you can imagine it like a scale. We have the masculine, we have the feminine. The harmonious balances, they're equal, they are balanced, and then the process of patriarchy started to rise, and then like the scales tipped, and the masculine started gaining more dominance and more importance and started being considered more relevant and being more enforced, and the feminine dropped. And in that process, what happened was that the masculine energy had to suppress certain parts of the feminine, because the feminine in her wholeness is very, very powerful, and she is naturally equally powerful to the masculine. So she cannot be dominated by him when she's in her wholeness, because she has the same power. So to suppress her, to weaken her and make her controllable, this is the right word, controllable, the masculine had to split her. It had to suppress aspects of her. It had to find a way to cut her power off. And this is why in this process of feminine empowerment, often when we reclaim that wild side of us, the primal side of us, the what we call the whore side, the sensual, the sexual, the powerful, the one who has boundaries, who stands in her truth, this wild primal aspect of us, that's when we get our power back. That's when you start feeling powerful within ourselves. Not because we are not powerful already now, but because we are suppressing our own power. We have been suppressing our own power because that's how we kept ourselves safe for millennia as women. Because what the masculine did, and this is really essential, and it shows also a lot in the witch burnings that came at a later point when patriarchy was already installed, but it was another enforcement of that process, is that everything that was powerful about a woman, her primal instinct to stand in her truth, to have boundaries, her primal nature, her sensuality, her sexuality, her inner strength, her resilience, all of those aspects, her ability to connect with the elements, to connect with the spiritual, to connect with energies beyond the veil, her incredibly powerful energetic abilities that can actually influence and shift and change realities, were deemed as evil, Satan's making. And then women were burned for that. Women were burned for having those aspects of themselves online. And it already starts actually in the Bible story, in the way it was distorted. Adam's first wife wasn't Eve, it was Lilith. But Lilith refused to let herself be dominated by Adam, to lie beneath him, to be considered less than him. She wanted to be his equal. And when she refused that, she was cast out of paradise. And instead, Eve was made from Adam's rib, created out of his body to be his wife, the nice, submissive, pretty wife that we have nowadays painted as the Madonna. This is what a split first happened. It goes all the way back to that first Bible story. The wild woman, the true, the whole woman, the equal to the man woman, who was created by God as his equal, as a man's equal, was cast out of paradise. And instead, there was a nice, pretty copy of a woman made of the man's rib. So she would be lesser than him. She was made of him, so she was beneath him. So she was controllable by him. So she was lesser than him. That's what the scales did for the first time. And then that continued. Then we had the witch burnings. Powerful women were burned because of their power. Because power in a woman was deemed evil and dangerous. And that goes all the way to nowadays. And it has been so essential for us as women to really live with that reality and integrate that in our bodies, that we do it to ourselves. It has become such a survival strategy because we were literally killed for having those parts of ourselves online. We were killed for being a sensual woman. We were killed for being a powerful woman who says no. We were killed for being a woman who's connected to her magic and her energetic skills and abilities. We were killed for that. There was a giant butterfly passing by now, as if it was a sign of the universe. Okay, back on track. We were killed for that. So we had to make it part of our essence. It's all the way down in our DNA, completely hidden in our subconscious, that we need to be a good one, a good wife to survive. We need to be the Madonna to survive. So we cut off the most essential parts of ourselves. The woman who lives in her body, who feels her body, who's connected to nature, who knows she is nature, who has her primal instincts online. Our primal instincts are essential. They keep us safe. They have this incredible power to sense what is right or wrong. Our intuition lives there. She's directly connected to our primal instincts. We cut her off. Our magic, our energetic mastery that we all have as women, we cut it off. Our sensuality, our aliveness, our sexuality, which is literally our life force energy. Sexual energy is life force energy. It is what keeps us alive. We cut it off. It's no surprise so many women struggle so bad nowadays. And there's so many more psychological illness in women than in men. Why? Because we are missing a whole big part of ourselves. We are missing a half of ourselves. Because up until now, we do that. We have it so deeply ingrained in our DNA, in our cells, that to keep us safe, we have to be the good wife and we have to deem the whore within us as evil, the sensual woman within us as evil. That we do it to ourselves, within our own being, but within each other too. How often have you walked around and seen a woman who, I don't know, was dressed sexy in a way, or who was moving in a certain way, and you deemed her as a whore or as a slut, without even knowing her? She just passed by, or she danced a certain way, she expressed herself a certain way, and right away in your head went on, what a whore, what a slut. We do that to each other. And that is not okay. We don't even know who that person is, and we deem them as such because we're scared. Because we have learned, if you're that, you're getting killed, or worse. So we need to keep that away from us as much as possible. We need to heal that split. We need to heal that split, because it's the only way that we will reclaim our full power, rediscover our wholeness, and truly return to who we're meant to be, whole, full, sovereign women. We need to look at what we're doing that to ourselves, to others. We need to reclaim that part of ourselves. Your instinctual nature, your primal aspects, your sensuality, your sexuality, your intuition, your instincts, none of that is bad. Your no is good. Your boundaries are great. None of that is bad. But we have to heal the trauma. And we have to look at where we're splitting ourselves and others in two to keep ourselves safe, when actually what we're doing is we're creating a slow, painful death for our soul. Because that's what happens. That's why so many women get mentally ill, get physically ill, because we split our soul in two. We split our essence in two, and we cast out one part of ourselves, like Lilith was cast out of paradise. And we end up being half a being, half a woman. And half a woman cannot live healthily. We need to heal the split. I got so angry the other day when I discovered how that split within me was still anchored in the way I see myself, in the way I see the world. Because healing happens in layers, right? We don't heal it all at once. It comes in layers. I got so angry. And angry is a powerful emotion because anger is an essential part of our primal nature. Because the good wife, the Madonna, she's not supposed to get angry. She's not allowed to get angry. Angry is considered part of Satan's making, of the evil, sensual aspect. But she's not evil. And anger isn't evil. Anger is one of the most powerful emotions you can have. Healthily processed anger sets you free. It keeps you safe. It creates boundaries. It rips down cages that you put yourself in. Healthily processed anger is like a catapult that moves you forward in who you're meant to be. I got so angry the other day when I discovered how I still live this reality within myself and how I still have anchored on a deep subconscious level those viewpoints of the world. I got so angry. But you know what it did? That primal anger, it ripped those views to pieces. It ripped those beliefs to pieces. It set me free. It wasn't nice, no, but it was freeing. And after that, I felt so free. I felt like I had just left an invisible cage I was stuck in all my life. And now I could experience a whole new reality. And you can have that too. We have to start shifting the way we see ourselves and each other. We need to accept the woman as whole again. Because we don't do that splitting within men. With men, it's perfectly normal that they get to be primal and sexual and all of those aspects, and they get to have boundaries and they get to say no, and they get to be the good father and the good guy and all of that. Because that split was never enforced on men. It was only enforced on women. And we need to reclaim our wholeness. So we need to heal this split within ourselves and within others by living in our wholeness. When we do that, we become a transmission, an embodied transmission for that healing to happen in others. I hope this episode served you today. Thank you for being here. This one was very near and dear to my heart. Let me know in the comments below how you experienced this, what is true for you in that matter, what you might have seen, what you might have experienced yourself, how you perceive things and how you perceive this Madonna-Whore split for yourself. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for being here. And if you liked the episode, hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on the little bell so that you never miss a new episode. There's a new episode coming out every week, and I thank you so much for being here. This is what I love. This work, it's my mission, it's my purpose to have women find their power, find their wholeness again. For us all to step into our sovereign, full power again. I hope you have a beautiful day. I will see you in the next episode. Bye.